I'm going to show you now is I took all of my cutout images, I put them in a group. I'm just going to go onto the group. I'm going to press Command C on my Mac. That should copy the entire group. I'm going to go over, I actually haven't decided how I'm going to do this yet. So I opened up a 6-box template. And I'm going to start here. I may shut off my template for a little bit. I may use a template. I haven't really fully decided. But I'm going to start out by just using this as a possible way of placing the boxes together. So I'm going to press Command V, and that will paste all my boxes in. And now you can see this is a template that I have that has 6 white grid lines. So I'm just going to shut off the grid lines. My group is now here. My group actually fell behind the grid line, so that would actually work, although my boxes are not square, so I haven't decided yet. But what I'm going to do is just show you a quick, before I start working on any of these individually, I'm going to press Command T as a group, because I'm still highlighted on the group 1 over here, and I'm just going to size them down. Now I'm going to hold down my Shift button, so that way I'm going to transform or make all of my boxes at the exact same time smaller. I may or may not keep them this size, but I want to be able to spread them around and put together a good composition. The reason I held my Shift button as I was dragging and bringing my boxes in to make them smaller is because the Shift button will allow me to maintain the aspect ratio of these boxes. I am doing this outside, and now of course there's an airplane going by, so I'm so sorry. I hope you can all still hear me. Oh boy. Alright, so I'm going to start out at about this size, press the check button, and now I'm going to start working on start moving. I went over here to the to this button over here, I forgot what it's called, and I'm going to start moving my boxes around and find myself a nice composition. Okay, now there's 2 airplanes going overhead. Nothing was going on for the last 20 minutes. And here, now we have here. Alright, so I have 8 boxes, but I'm not going to use them all. I haven't decided if I'm going to use this Justin or that Justin. So, but this is my process. I haven't even practiced this yet. I haven't even tried this yet. I'm literally doing this live as we speak. Okay, so basically, there we go. I could not use a template. I could just take my little boxes. It's as easy as this, really, and just move them around. And I like this Barbie. I think she's funny. I'm going to have her. So let's see here. So he's leaning down. He's going to throw, I think I'm going to shut this one off. I'm going to use this guy. So she's catching. He's throwing. I'm going to add some confetti. Now, of course, look at how her hand is, how Justin's hand is now being covered up by Barbie, but that's okay because I'm going to bring him back later. I'm just really finding a composition right now for my images. So I have Barbie here with her leg hanging out. Oh, another airplane is going by. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, so we've got these guys over here. I think I'm really not in the mood to cut out Barbie at the moment, so I'm going to leave this Barbie for later. Shut her off. Now I'm going to take my entire group. I'm highlighting my whole group again because I want to make them bigger. Now I'm going to say Command T, and I'm going to hold my Shift button down, and I'm going to just at the same time bring out all of these and just make them larger now so that they fall into this canvas. Okay, so this canvas isn't really exactly the right size, but that's okay because either we can add borders to it or we can crop it. So it's really not a big deal. I can also make it, let's try something. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I kind of like this. This is that organic look that so many people are showing. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Remember now, The reason I can move these all at the same time is because I have highlighted group 1. If you don't have all your pictures in the group, I'm going to show you another way of doing it. Or if you only want to move a few at the same time, you can just highlight the pictures. So let's say I don't have them in a group. Well, if I press the shift button and hold it down, I can click on layer 9, layer 8, layer 7, layer 6, layer 5, layer 4, layer 3, and now they're all highlighted. I did have to hold the shift button down, and then it will work exactly the same way. As long as the layers that you have that you want to transform at the same time are highlighted, it will work. And the reason I do that is so that way I can at least keep these boxes, relatively the same size. And I don't have to worry about saying, oh, one's too small, one's too big, unless you want to make one bigger. It's always your preference. So I'm gonna stop right here. Actually, I'm gonna turn my grid back on really quick. So now let's just say I wanted to move these inside my grid. All right. Now I'm just going to start moving them around a little bit, but they obviously are too wide for my grid. So what can I do? Well, I can take my grid and I can stretch it. I'm going to try this. Let's see how it works. Okay. I'm going to press the shift button. Okay, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to do is I want to add some canvas. So I'm going to go to the crop tool, and I want to be at my original ratio. And I'm going to add some canvas here. Adding some canvas. Let's see. All right, now I'm going to take my white grid lines. I'm going to press Command T, and I'm going to drag my grid. Let's see how this works here. Try to make it more of a rectangular shape. So right now, you can see that my squares are becoming a little bit more rectangular. I'm just literally taking the edges of my template and working them to make my squares a rectangle. Oh, that's cool. That worked. Are they going to be perfect? No, but it's going to kind of work, I think. Look at that. It's working. Yay. I never really did a live editing video before. I was always nervous. I have always pre-edited, pre-worked my photo or my images, and then went back after I tried it out and then made a video. So you guys are getting my actual live work here. All right, so I'm going to press the check button. Now I'm going to start moving around. I'm going back to the move tool. Oh yeah, I remembered what it was called. Going back to my move tool, and I'm just going to move my boxes into here, into the rectangles that I formed. Okay, so my rectangle is obviously a little bit too rectangular for my boxes. Some of them at least. So now I have them pretty set. I'm going to go back to my grid line. I'm going to press Command T. I'm going to move it a little bit more in. Let's see here. Maybe just, that looks pretty good. Move these boxes here. Boxes here. Let's see. Maybe I do need to make this a little bit wider, just a little bit. And I'm going to see how that works. And now I'm going to move my let's see how this works. Okay, so that's pretty good. Actually, I'm going to highlight my whole group press Command T. I'm going to make these all a little bit larger now, just a little bit, just a smidge, so that they'll really fit. And actually, sometimes you can even stretch your pictures a little bit or condense your pictures a little bit without really doing a lot of harm. So now, I don't know why this box in particular seems to be cropped much more of a square. I'm just pulling it. I don't think it's going to do too much harm to the proportions of my Barbie doll. She's okay. And see, I have, when you're on the Move tool, if you have here, click Show Transformation Controls, you don't even have to press Command T, because as you hover over a picture, and click on the picture, it'll move to the correct picture, and your tools will be there. So I'm just gonna quickly transform these little boxes just a teensy bit. Okay, that looks good. That looks good to me. And now what I'm going to do is, now this of course is going to make everything a little bit wonky because it's not going to be a great printing ratio. I'm sure there's better ways of doing this, but I'm going to press the crop tool again, and I'm just going to, well, actually what I'm going to do is stop. I'm going to stop what I'm doing here. I'm not going to crop right now. Change my mind. I'm going to take my white grid. I'm going to highlight everything, and I'm just going to move it all so that it's centered. So that it's centered. There we go. You know what? I'm going to crop it. I press my crop tool, just highlight the white grid, press the crop tool, and I'm just going to actually clear the original ratios. I'm just going to crop around this image, and now obviously I have hands hiding behind here because I haven't gone in and edited it the way I normally would. And if you look back on my older videos, you'll see how to go in and edit to cut these hands out so that they can go over a template. But I'm going to show you one more little thing, okay? I'm highlighted at the white grid lines. I'm going to press down over here to get a blank layer. The layer is above my white grid lines, okay? I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and I'm going to press Color. All right, and now I'm going to just hover with the dropper tool. I'm going to grab a brown color from my box. Press OK, and now I'm going to press OK, and everything turned brown. But now I'm going to go to my layer, my brown layer. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to press Create a Clipping Mask, and I'm going to clip the brown layer to the white grid lines. And now I've miraculously turned my grid brown, a very similar shade of brown as the boxes. So now I have a brown box. So this, you could see in here, I'm going to go back to my Move tool, that these probably need to be moved around a little bit just to make them work. And then I will go back in later on, and I'm going to go back in later on, and I'm going to do all the cutting out, and I'm going to add some fun confetti. But this is how I would edit a box using a template. And if you don't like this color brown for your template, you can go ahead and change that. You can add a different color. You can press I press B for brush. Actually, I'm going to go to the eyedropper. I'm going to take a sample quickly of a lighter brown. I'm going to go for B for brush. And I'm going to maybe go to make my opacity like 4. And I'm going to click on a new layer above my clip layer. I'm going to clip that to, and I'm just going to play around with maybe brushing on some lighter tones to kind of give it the feel of a box. Yeah, let's see. Like I said, I'm making this up on the fly here, so I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm just giving it a go, because why not? And I'm just giving it some browns, and then I'm going to even use like maybe some opacity changing. I'm going to go here, not opacity, I'm going to change my my blending mode from normal to, let's see what happens if I go to soft light. That doesn't do anything. Go to hard light. Nah, that made it too red. Overlay. I don't know. Lighten. Maybe I'll try darken. I literally just go back and forth and play around with these. Maybe vivid light. No. Or linear dodge. Let's see. Oh, no, that's a little too much. Dissolve. Maybe. Maybe just normal. Maybe normal, and I'll just change the opacity on it and bring the opacity of it down. So here's the difference. Click it on and off. Just added some more, maybe more realism to it because there's some light hitting the inside of the box. All right, so that's all. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to finish editing this. Let me actually turn off the grid really quick. So I'm turning off the grid, and which of course turns off all the layers that were attached to it. And now if I wanted to do this as a project without a grid, let me show you how you can do this. Again, you're going to still have to go back in and use your masks to mask off hands. Actually, really, it's really just this one hand that I'll have to mask off, which will be nice and easy. But let's see. So I'm going to go back to my group. I'm going to select my whole group. That does make it so much easier when you take layers that you want to work with all together and put it into a group. But like I said, you don't have to do it that way. Press Command T. Now I'm working with my whole group. I'm pressing the Shift button, and I'm just stretching it. Stretching it. Okay, actually I'm going to stop it right here. I'm going to start working with individual pieces. I'm going to move them together. Move them together. Move them together. Together. This gives it that really organic feeling, which is awesome. I actually really love this also. I do. I'm going to squish her in a little bit. Still looks okay to me. I'm going to take that whole group, press Command T. Oh, actually, okay. I take the whole group, press Command T. I'm going to go here. Just move it down and center it a little bit. And then I could do a bunch of things, really. I could take a brown layer, take that brown layer that we had originally linked up here with the white grids. I'm going to drag it, which is going to unlink it, and I'm going to place it on the bottom of all of these. And look at that. It just made a little tiny border, but it didn't put the borders in here, which gives it a nice organic feeling. Again, keeps the organic feeling of the boxes next to each other, but kind of finishes it off. And I would probably move this around a little bit more, make it centered, or however really you want to do it. That's really it. If I were to work it this way, I'm going to have to, fix his hand so his hand can come through. And let's see. He's over here. Let's think about it. He's over here. He's under. I'm going to move him above Barbie. Move him above Barbie so that he comes through. I'm going to create a mask, put it over him. I'm going to try and select the green. That's a beautiful thing. Love using green. That's why I used it. And I'm going to press pressed Command I, and I inverted the mask. Wow, that was pretty easy, huh? I pressed Command I, so I inverted the mask. Watch again, Command I, because remember this is the mask, but it's I was on the mask. By the way, again, I did a selection not on the picture, but on the mask, okay? So the mask is white, which is not covering anything. I'm going to invert my mask, which is only really working with the selection, Command I, and now it made my mask black. But you see, it still looks like it's white, but really it turned just this section black. I'm going to press Command D, and now, voila, we have his hands coming through. And I'm going to have to go back in and fix this up a little bit more. But yeah, this is pretty much it. So I hope this was helpful. I know it was long-winded, but you guys are awesome and so creative. Everyone is so great in this group. There's so many people. Right now, off the top of my head, I cannot remember everyone's names because I'm, speaking. So that's what always happens when you speak. You can't remember names. But I'm going to write it. So many great people in this group have inspired these brown box photo shoots, and they're just amazing. So thank you to all of your inspiration, and I hope this was helpful to the group. Don't worry, I actually will get rid of these green over here too. That's still coming through. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, please let me know, and happy boxing. See you guys later. Bye.